Hey Raiders, have you been feeding Scrappy randomly and hoping for the best? Because I tested feeding Scrappy across 8 different rates and the results are actually more interesting than I expected. In this video, I'll show you how feeding Scrappy actually works, what items give what kind of rewards, and whether feeding Scrappy is actually worth it or not. Also, if you are curious about learning how Scrappy actually works, you can check out my previous video on Scrappy. So what is Scrappy feeding boost? After the new update, you can now feed Scrappy even after reaching max level. You can queue up to 6 food items, and as you complete raids, Scrappy will give you rewards based on what you fed. So Scrappy is now basically a passive farming system that will not just give you materials but also some useful crafting items and equipment. Now let's understand how feeding boost works. There is a total of 6 items that you can feed to Scrappy, which include olives, fruit mix, mushroom, agave, apricot, lemon, and prickly pear. Different food items boost different types of materials and also give you different kinds of rewards. Let's go through what feeding each items will give you. Starting from olives, feeding olives boosts fabric materials. What I found out from my experience is that it adds 5 extra materials to the fabric you receive from Scrappy. So if you keep running low on fabric, feeding olives might help you compound your fabric stash. Fruit mix, feeding fruit mix boosts all the materials that you get from Scrappy. It helps you get extra fabric, rubber parts, seeds, chemicals, plastic parts, metal parts, and a chance of getting better topside materials. Also, if you want to make fruit mix, you need to have an in-round crafting skill unlocked in your skill tree, and you can only craft this while on topside, and it requires 1 lemon, 1 apricot, and 1 prickly pear. Mushroom, feeding mushroom boosts plastic parts that you get from Scrappy, and it increases the chance of getting gearbench materials or equipment. Agave, feeding agave will boost assorted seeds and a chance of getting mods or materials to craft mods. Apricot, feeding apricot boosts metal parts and a chance of getting gunsmith materials or equipment. Lemon, feeding lemon boosts chemicals and chance of getting explosive station material or equipment. And finally, prickly pear. Feeding prickly pear will boost rubber parts and a chance of getting utility station material or equipment. So I tested feeding all the items to Scrappy across 8 different rates, and here's what I found. First, I tried prickly pear multiple times. In all 3 runs, I got extra rubber parts as a material boost and a mechanical component in first and second run. Then I got a speaker in third run, which proves that feeding prickly pear does give utility station items. Later, I tried apricot, and it gave me extra metal parts as a boost and a simple gun parts. Then I tested fruit mix, and I got 5 extra on all materials that Scrappy gives, and I got 2 heavy gun parts, which is really good. After that, I tried feeding lemon, and as expected, it gave 5 extra chemicals and I got 1 crafting items wire. Then I tested agave. This one gave me 5 extra seeds and I got really good mod item or level 3 stock. This is one of the best items I got from Scrappy. Then I fed it mushroom, which gave me 5 extra plastic parts, and I got a voltage converter as mushroom rewards 1 gear bench materials or equipment. I've got some good augment sometime after feeding mushroom. And finally, I tested olives, which gave me 5 extra fabric, and I got an advanced arc power cell as it has chance to give medical lab equipment or materials. So based on all these tests, this is how Scrappy actually works. Each food item does not give you a fixed reward, instead it boosts a base category of different materials plus a bonus items based on a specific category. So you are not farming exact items, you are influencing the type of loot you get. So now the big question, is feeding Scrappy actually worth it? Honestly, yes. Because you are already playing raids anyway, and this is basically free extra materials on top of that. And sometimes you can get really good items like gun parts, mods, or even things like augments, deadline mine, and vita spray. Of course, it's not guaranteed every time and it's randomized. But overall, it's still a solid system. So based on all this, you can either choose to feed Scrappy specific items depending on what you need, or just feed it randomly and still get value over time. But the important thing is, don't ignore this system. Try to collect and use as many food items as you can, because this is basically free extra resources while you play. Whenever you are out on raid, don't forget to pick up food for Scrappy. And if you want, you can even do a quick run just to farm food and stack it up. And the best part is, you don't have to feed items one by one. You can queue up to 6 items at once, then just go on your raids as usual and let Scrappy brings you extra loot in the background. And that's how feeding Scrappy actually works in our creators. Let me know what's the best item you've gotten from Scrappy so far with the new feeding system. For me, it's been things like Vita Spray, Deadline Mine, and Augment. I'm curious to know what you guys are getting. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.